So I woke up this morning and saw the news that physical games may be going away, and honestly, my first reaction wasn't excitement. It wasn't even surprise. It was more like, man, I think we're actually watching the end of an entire era of gaming. And I'm not just talking about discs, I'm talking about everything that comes with physical games. Because if you're around my age, you remember what gaming used to be like. And I don't think the next generation of gamers is ever going to experience that. But before we get into it, if you're liking the content, please hit those like and subscribe buttons, hit the notification bell, it'll put a tingle in my little dingle, and Lord knows I could sure use it. Now let's get into it. So at first you hear no more physical games, and you think, okay, so now everything's digital. Big deal, that's just where things are today. But then you stop and think about what physical games actually allowed you to do. When you bought a game, it was yours. You could put it on your shelf, you could replay it in 10 years, you could sell it, you could trade it, you could even lend it to a friend. And now we're moving toward a future where companies control everything about how and when we access the things that we paid for. I still remember going to midnight launches for Halo and Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. We liked having those physical games. You open the you open the box and you've got your instruction manual. For some games you had maps, some games you had tips. I still have games from the Atari 2600 all the way up to this generation with the PS5. I have drawers full of physical copy games that I could go plug in my Super Nintendo at any time, put that cartridge in, and play for as long as I want, whenever I want. No needing to be online, no company telling me that they're pulling it away from me because they're taking it down off their storefront. And this is one of the things that's kind of hitting me the hardest is, when I was younger, if I finished a game and I thought it was awesome, I would hand it to my friend and say, hey, dude, you got to play this. This is awesome. You didn't have to share an account. You didn't have to have a subscription. You didn't have to have online verification, no activation codes, no monthly fees. You just gave somebody the game. I know that sounds like such a small thing, but that's a huge part of gaming culture that just kind of disappears completely in the digital-only era. And another thing that I haven't seen too many people talking about, but this will clearly affect what happens to the brick-and-mortar game stores. I know GameStop's been kind of on the decline for years now, but there's other smaller, more independent shops that sell used video games. What's going to happen to them? Love them or hate them, places like that were a huge part of gaming culture. How many times did we trade in old games to get cash or credit to buy a new one? How many midnight launches did people go to? How many kids were only able to play certain games because they bought them used? If physical games disappear, that entire ecosystem disappears with it. I remember when I was younger, trading in games that I didn't play anymore to hopefully build up enough credit to buy that new game that came out. Until I got a job and had adult money to blow on stuff like that, I would have to use old games if I wanted to buy the new one or wait for a birthday or Christmas and hope somebody else got it for me. And now the biggest question is going to be, do we own anything anymore? Because when I buy a physical game, I know I own that copy. But with digital purchases, we're trusting companies to keep servers online, keep stores available, and continue honoring purchases years down the road. And maybe they will, but what happens if they don't? Look at what just happened with Sony, pulling a bunch of movies off their platform that people already bought and paid for. They lose those now. It's not right. It sucks, and I understand things change with the times, but this is getting a little ridiculous. Now look, maybe I'm just getting old. I'm 42 years old. But maybe this is exactly how people felt when CDs replaced records or when streaming replaced DVDs. But I don't think people are going to be upset because they're attached to a piece of plastic. I think people are upset because physical games represented ownership, sharing, collecting, and experiences that a lot of us grew up with. And honestly, I don't know if we're just watching the end of physical games. I think we're watching the end of a certain kind of gamer experience altogether. I may be wrong. I may be right. Who knows? But let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this. Is it a big deal? Do you not care? Or are you somebody who likes building a game collection, and in a couple of years that's pretty much going to stop unless they continue to sell you a box with no disc inside of it? Grand Theft Auto 6. Anyway, I thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.